Tonight on the world's most amazing videos.
Look out, guys.
A rescue chopper crashes
Oh my goodness.
and tumbles down the mountain.
Good Lord.
And a base jumper is blown off course and slammed straight into the ground. Plus, when a lowrider blows a rim, a man takes a hit in the face. Then, a hot air balloon tears into a radio tower, and 2 kids are trapped inside. And later, a cyclist races down a smoldering volcano and suffers a devastating wipeout. These are the incredible true life stories of people who face their most desperate hour and live to tell about it. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos.
Tampa, Florida. A lowrider convention kicks into high gear, and the place is jumping. The bigger the bounce, the better the score. Drivers stand close to their vehicles, maneuvering by remote control. But these cars and trucks are not designed for this kind of pounding. One bad bounce can lead to disaster. Glenn Strickland hopes his pickup truck flies highest of all. He flips the switch and collapses in agony.
I just heard an explosion, seen a silver blur, something coming at my face. When I hit the ground, I just kind of rolled over, trying to figure out what had happened. I just heard a bunch of screaming and yelling and people running around.
Watch again. A tire explodes and breaks apart, sending the jagged steel rim flying at Glenn's face. He has no time to react.
The rim looked like a saw blade where it broke apart at real jagged edges. I could taste the blood in my mouth where my gums and my cheek had been split open.
It was a freak accident. Glenn knows it could have been worse.
Every now and then I go back and watch the tape. I'm just reminded I was very lucky that day. I could have been killed.
Oslo, Norway. Base jumpers leap from a 37-story skyscraper, thrilling a crowd of spectators. A jumper takes the plunge. The crowd cheers, but they celebrate too soon. A sudden gust of wind grabs the chute. The jumper fights for control. But his line catches on a lamppost and he's slammed to the ground. The pole hurls him backwards, hammering his head and torso into the concrete. The jumper punctures a lung and suffers serious head and neck injuries. It's a punishing price to pay for a 15-second thrill. Heber, Utah. The aftermath of a highway accident. Kevin Garbwall's truck is overturned, but he got out unharmed. State troopers keep an eye on passing traffic as he goes back into the truck to get his registration. They don't notice what's speeding toward them from the other direction. The officers run for their lives as a van and trailer crash through the snow and smash into Kevin's truck. And Kevin is still inside.
You know, I had just sent that kid back in there to get his stuff, and one of my biggest fears in this whole thing is that we had actually injured that kid.
The cops are relieved to see Kevin walk out, holding his vehicle registration. He's in shock, but he survived a second collision.
I didn't know really what to do. I was a little scared and frightened because I didn't know whether I was going to make it out of it.
There are 8 people in the van, all members of a rock band. None is hurt seriously after a surprise appearance that could have cost them their lives. Northern France. A commuter train blazes after colliding with a truck. Firefighters approach. What they don't know is that the truck is loaded with propane. Then, without warning, the gas tanks explode. The flames and heat are so intense, firemen can't get close. When the explosions subside, they move in to douse the flames. They step cautiously. Unexploded gas canisters are scattered along the track. Finally, the rescuers enter the train, fearing they'll find dozens of burned bodies inside. Amazingly, the train is empty. All the passengers escaped only seconds before the train erupted in a fireball. Charred seats and melted steel are the only reminders of the hellfires that nearly killed hundreds.
Coming up, a chopper crashes into a mountain
Oh my goodness.
and rolls over crew members caught in its path.
Good Lord.
Plus, a crazed driver turns a crowded shopping mall into a deadly speedway. Then, a stuntman's high-flying finale ends in disaster. When the world's most amazing videos continues.
Mount Hood, Oregon. Tragedy strikes when a party of 9 mountain climbers fall into a 40-foot crevasse. Jeff Livick of the Ski Patrol is one of the first on the scene.
There was 6 or 7 able-bodied, well-trained emergency medical personnel taking care of each injured person.
One by one, the injured climbers are hoisted into a military helicopter, then airlifted to nearby hospitals. Another chopper arrives to evacuate the remaining climbers, but the rescue effort is made hazardous by strong winds.
They call it the Devil's Kitchen. It's a place where the winds really swirl around because of the way the mountain sits. And
The helicopter hovers dangerously low. Suddenly, the pilot struggles to stay airborne.
Look out, guys. There we are talking about things going wrong. Hang on, fellas. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is horrible. Good Lord. Oh, fellas. Oh my goodness.
The 6-ton chopper nosedives into the side of the mountain. Jeff watches in stunned disbelief.
The blades just started thop, 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 thop. You could actually hear it and watch them disintegrating.
Rotors slam into the ground and shatter. Debris flies in all directions while a news crew broadcasts the horrifying images.
You're watching this live, folks. Oh, if only this was a movie. You've seen the helicopter, you saw the tail go into the mountain.
Members of the flight crew are hurled out of the chopper directly into its path.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is horrible. Good Lord. Oh, fellas. Oh my goodness.
Now it's the rescuers who are in dire need of rescue.
So I skied down as fast as I could and absolutely fully expected to find crushed humans.
What he finds is truly astonishing. Only 2 airmen have suffered injuries.
It's just a testament to the incredible human body, just what adrenaline and the want to stay alive.
La Paz, Bolivia. Torrential rains and melting snow flood city streets. An elderly woman is stranded. A man tries to help. He's got her, but can't hang on. A neighbor tries to reach her with a broom, but it's no use. The current traps the old woman under a truck wheel, keeps her from being swept away. But now she may drown. No one strong enough to face the raging current alone. They form a human chain and pull the weakened woman to safety. Incredibly, the woman survives. Thanks to neighbors who refuse to give up, the elderly woman is spared a tragic death. Perth, Australia. Police pursue a stolen car across the city. They have no idea just how wild and dangerous this chase is about to become. This driver will do anything, drive anywhere to get away.
Heading over towards the freeway on-ramp, staying on the wrong side of the road.
He speeds the wrong way on the shoulder. He barrels through oncoming traffic down the center of a highway. He hits a busy intersection without even touching his brakes. Tragedy could come at any moment. Now he heads downtown, plunging toward a crowded business district.
From the boss, all vehicles abort. I say again, all vehicles abort.
He almost hits a car head-on. A biker cheats death at the crosswalk. There's no room on this street, so he takes the sidewalk. The demon driver seems to have run out of road. His door opens, but it's only to let out an accomplice. The man runs, knowing his friend is out of control. Like a rat trapped in a maze, the crazed driver panics. He floors it, straight into a pedestrian shopping mall. The car narrowly misses one person after another. And then, the worst fears are realized. The female shopper is hit hard. Witnesses try to stop the car with their bare hands. But the man guns it, and he's off again. Only not for long. light pole ends the rampage. Police move in and pull the driver out of the car. The victim receives emergency treatment. She'll survive. The car thief is booked on many counts, including reckless driving and hit and run. But the charges can't come close to describing the havoc he caused. And he turned a shopping mall into a promenade of terror.
Coming up, a daredevil's death-defying stunt goes terribly wrong when he nosedives on impact. Then, a hot air balloon is shredded on a radio tower, and no one can reach the kids inside. And later, a jockey is thrown from the saddle and hangs on for his life. But he's brutally trampled. When the world's most amazing videos returns.
His nickname is Trouble. And it's easy to see why. High-flying, death-defying car crashes are stuntman Tommy McTeague's passion.
This is something I just have to do. I need to destroy cars. I need to crash things.
Trouble's trademark stunt is something he calls the dive bomber. It features a crash into a line of cars.
The actual cars are put there for a cushion, so to speak. It actually absorbs a lot of the impact.
Despite the stunt's danger, Tommy never fails to walk away unscathed. That is, until tonight. Acton, New Jersey. Thousands pack the grandstand for Trouble's dive bomber. Tommy's set. He guns it. But this time, there's real trouble. Tommy's car nosedives, cartwheels into the air, then slams to the pavement upside down.
As soon as I hit the roof, there was just this instant pain that went through my back from the top of my head down to my tailbone.
The violent impact crushes the roof like a tin can, right on Tommy's head.
I was paralyzed. I thought I broke my neck. I broke my back. I can't move.
Crewmen race to pull him from the mangled wreckage. Tommy's pinned in agonizing pain. But not only can Tommy walk, he can even take a bow. Despite this display, Tommy has 2 severely crushed vertebrae.
As I'm throwing my arms up in the air, I feel like I'm going to pass out from the pain. That's how excruciating it was.
It's a lingering reminder of the dive bomber, an explosive stunt that nearly ended Tommy's troubles for good.
I'll always remember this crash because it was the crash that almost ended my career. That's what this stunt taught me. Every jump is my last jump.
London's East End. A man enters a jewelry store. He's acting suspiciously. Most customers don't put on their gloves as they approach the counter. The clerk notices and hits the silent alarm.
Really diamond bracelets, really expensive for my wife.
Now she stalls the man while waiting for police.
See more, please. Can I see some more? Lay them down. Lay them down. Can I see some more, please? I want to see more variety.
I don't know.
While the man demands diamonds, the store's owner has locked the exit door.
Diamonds.
He's prepared for what the man's about to do next.
Oh, you can buy a lot there.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
He sweeps up the diamonds and heads for the door, but the door won't open.
Open the door! Open the door!
All hell breaks loose. The thief charges the counter, but the owner is there to meet him. The glass counter shatters under the thief's weight. The owner's father is thrown. The crook is in a panic. He tries to gouge out the boss's eyes. The mayhem spreads to the back office. Now the entire family joins in the battle. The fight is not over yet. The owner still refuses to let the man go. But then, the crazed robber savagely attacks the owner's mother.
Open the door! Open the door! I'll kill you! Open the door! Open the door! She dies! Open the door!
The boss decides it's gone far enough.
Okay, go.
He releases the door's security lock. The thief grabs the diamonds and walks out. He's free, or so he thinks. There's another door, and it's still locked. This guy's not going anywhere. He's stuck until police arrive. Soon, he'll be stuck in jail.
Open the door! Open the door!
Albuquerque, New Mexico. High winds are bad news at the International Balloon Fiesta.
Oh. Wind's starting to pick up, huh?
A spectator fears problems as he aims his camera to the sky.
It's too doggone hard.
But he can't imagine what's about to happen.
There's smoky out there. Oh, he hit the tower. He's on the tower. Oh, he tore a hole in him.
The Smokey Bear balloon slams into the radio tower. It punctures and bursts like a party balloon. A 69-year-old pilot and 2 kids are trapped in the basket and stuck dangerously high in the sky. Time's running out. The basket's weight is causing the balloon to tear even more. At any second, the 3 riders could come crashing down 600 feet to the ground.
Oh, I hope that thing don't rip or let the basket fall.
But look closely at the tower. There's action that can't be seen from below. That dark figure is 14-year-old Troy Wells. Amazingly, he's climbing out of the basket.
Every now and then we'd feel a jerk and we'd be 3 or 4 feet lower. So we were pretty sure that I was still gonna fall.
Now he's helping Aaron Whitaker onto the tower. Aaron is only 10 years old. And those winds are hitting 80 miles an hour.
It's tearing. No, they're climbing down the tower.
They are.
Yeah. hope they're young people because that's a hell of a long ways down.
Slowly, carefully, all three begin to climb down the tower's maintenance ladder. The perilous descent takes nearly 2 hours. With every step, they could plummet to their death. But they make it.
I was pretty sure we were gonna fall. I was actually thinking that I'd be one of those people on the news that I see. I was also kind of scared that Bill would slip, because if Bill slipped, he would have taken us all down with him.
All I wanted to do was live and get the boys down safely.
Back on the ground, there's a tearful reunion for the boys and their families. And a reminder that not even Smokey Bear could prevent this disaster.
Coming up, a daredevil on a bike tries to set a speed record and falls short. But first, when a homicidal gunman takes a hostage, the hostage fights back. Then, a speedway racer loses control, triggering a bone-breaking crash. When the world's most amazing videos returns.
Bangkok, Thailand. A fight over a woman has led to a life-and-death standoff in a shopping mall. Police try to reason with jilted lover Min Se Wong. But he won't give up the gun. Or his rival, Cow. Then a bizarre turn. The hostage tells police his plan for escape. And he doesn't care if the gunman hears it. That's because the gunman is Chinese, and he doesn't speak Thai. Cow has only one chance to get it right. A second look shows the risky combination of distraction and quick action. Min points the pistol. Cow pulls down his arm and gun in one clean sweep. Now police move in. They pull Cow away. He looks like he wants one more shot at his rival. Min is charged with attempted murder. He'll have plenty of time in jail to think about what he did for love. Costa Mesa, California. Speedway motorcycle racers blaze around a slick oval track. 4 men start the heat, but only one will finish. Tom Hamilton is on the inside when he makes a bold move for the lead. Tom hits a rut, sending his front tire into the air. His bike veers out of control, slamming 2 other riders. The entire pack careens into the concrete guard wall. The front tire just misses one rider's head. The men are sprawled under their tangled motorbikes. No one's moving. Tom and the other riders are alive, but they've had a terrible scare.
I just kept on remembering feeling the motorcycles banging into me, hitting my helmet, and I just remember tucking and rolling and just wondering, when is this going to stop?
2 of the racers walk away, but Tom's left with a broken collarbone and a healthy dose of gratitude.
I I just always tell myself, you know, how lucky I am to be able to have gotten up and walked away from that accident. I could have died that night on the drive.
British Columbia, Canada. A rowdy birthday party aboard a houseboat. Guests are packed in tight. The boat has a capacity for 30, but tonight there are twice that aboard. It's a recipe for disaster. The boat takes on water and capsizes.
Everyone on board starts to panic. Everybody was screaming, flailing about. There were guys crying, girls crying. It was an absolute mess in that lake.
Tyson Murphy is one of the partygoers trapped below.
The girl I was with, we were both waiting for the water to go past our heads. And I turned to her and I said, "It was nice meeting you tonight, but I think we're both gonna die." I took my last breath when the water went over my head, and that was the last thing I thought was, this is the end.
Disoriented and running out of air, Tyson frantically searches for a way out.
I was completely underwater. I saw light through the window, and I went towards the window, opened it, and that's how I escaped through the houseboat.
Tyson's safe. On shore, desperate people scour the crowd looking for loved ones.
There are people screaming, people shouting, you know, you could see all the sirens. It was like it was out of a movie, but it wasn't a movie. It was real time, and it was real scary.
It was a night that started with joy and laughter and ended in anguish.
Coming up, a courtroom erupts in chaos when two families square off in a furious feud. Then, a reckless driver plows into a gas pump, and a family's car is engulfed in a fiery inferno. As the world's most amazing videos continues.
Canton, Ohio. Raymond Nichols fills up at the gas pump while his wife and two daughters wait in the car. A routine task is about to turn deadly. Raymond never sees the car coming as it smashes into the island.
I heard a loud crash, like a metal crashing sound behind me. And I felt an intense heat rise up from the back of my neck. So my reaction was just to immediately get away from that spot.
Raymond runs so quickly, he's still holding the nozzle. But he's not running for his own life.
I had just put like $15 worth of gas in the tank, so I needed to get the family out of the car. They were sitting on a bomb and it was going to explode at any second.
The glass started flying in at me and the kids. Ray came around the car to get us out of the car. He was yelling that the car was on fire.
My wife pushed the door open and she grabbed Madison, and I went to grab Allison. The seats were starting to smoke. Probably within 20 to 30 seconds, the whole back seat was on fire.
Raymond and his family escape with seconds to spare. But there's another concern. The other car's on fire too.
We were worried that there was somebody in the other car still.
But the driver is long gone. There she is, jumping out of the car and never looking back. Firefighters arrive and get the blaze under control.
Really, after we got everybody safe, it kind of hit everybody how close it was. It nearly killed me and nearly killed my family.
The reckless driver is charged with leaving the scene of an accident. The Nichols car is incinerated. A high price to pay at the pumps. Panama City, Panama. 5 horses bolt from the starting gate. The rider on the outside cuts across the pack. He knocks Henry Zapata off his saddle. But not off his horse. For Henry, this has turned into a race for life. The horse won't stop. Henry can't let go. If he does, he'll be trampled. Henry's nightmare ride begins when his horse is bumped. The jockey tumbles forward, but manages to wrap his arms around the horse's neck. He raises his legs to keep his feet from the thundering hooves, then hangs on for dear life. But finally, his last ounce of strength runs out. The crowd gasps in horror as the 100-pound man is pummeled and stomped. Amazingly, he suffers only minor bumps and bruises. Henry never crosses the finish line. Just surviving this wild ride is the most important victory of his life. Haifa, Israel. Disorder in the court during a murder trial. Instead of arguments, both sides are trading punches and throwing chairs. It's a free-for-all brawl between families of the victim and the accused. Watch as the man in the white hat uses his walking stick as a weapon. Another man chucks a box of legal documents. Not even the judge's bench is safe. The woman in black heads to the witness stand. She's hit with one chair, then another. Then she strikes back. Security guards rush in to clear the courtroom. They take down and arrest 2 of the instigators in the halls of justice. When they're back in court to face assault charges, they'll hope they don't get the chair. Nicaragua's Cerro Negro volcano. It's an active volcano and the ultimate racetrack for French cyclist Eric the Red Baron Baron. Today, he's out to set a bicycle speed record. His first run is clocked at more than 163 kilometers, 102 miles an hour. That's a personal best. But not good enough for the Red Baron. He speeds down again. He's at the halfway point. And then Eric's bike frame splits in 2. Even worse, he loses his helmet. The Red Baron tumbles down the steep slope out of control across the jagged lava rock. more than 100 miles an hour with no protection for his head or neck. Eric's crew is frantic. They're afraid he's broke his neck. As bad as it seems, the Red Baron escaped with only scrapes and bruises. He'll go for a new personal best another day. It's enough that this time he survived the volcano.
These are the incredible true stories of real people who look death in the eye and survive. Join us next time for more of the world's most amazing videos.